Good morning, everybody. This is Suzy Q and Suzy Q's book club. We are working on Angels by Charlie Shamp, and I am excited because every time I start reading this, I am just like, man, the glory just comes in the room, and I just feel the presence of God here. But like we said yesterday, those who are seeking more of God, seeking more of His kingdom and His presence. That God is a rewarder of those who diligently seek Him. He will reward you with His presence and just experiences. All you have to do is ask Him. Say, Lord, I want more of You. I want to experience this realm that is outside of this normal. I want to experience the realm of the supernatural, the realm of the spiritual, and I want to interact and engage with the angelic, beings. So anyway, so this is so exciting, and every day I grasp a little bit more. Sometimes it takes a little time to kind of process what we're learning and experiencing, but He is so faithful. So anyway, we are on chapter 4. We're talking about the glory angels, and the particular rank in the glory angels are the cherubim and the thrones. See, there's 9 different categories of angels or ranks of angels, and then within that 9 there's 3 spheres. And so we're talking about the first sphere, the one that's closest to God. It started off with the seraphims. They're the ones that are closest to the throne, that worship and attend to God. They are there to interpret and to what did I say? Interpret and to implement the will of the Father through the ranks of the angels. And so, and they're full of glory. They're called the burning ones. And then we have the cherubims and the thrones, and we are working on the cherubims. And we're not talking about the little fat baby angels, that you think of when you talk about Valentine's Day, whatever. That comes from somewhere totally different. But we're talking about these cherubim angels with the face of man and the face of the, what did they say? Representing the face of the man, face of the ox, a lion, and an eagle. And that each one of them represents a part, represents something different. And so, alrighty. Then we went into the section that talked about cherubims, guardians of the glory. They're the guardians of the glory. Wow. That is just so amazing. Just so amazing. The Shekinah glory, His presence. When the Shekinah glory is in the room, you can bet that so are the cherubims too. You've got these angels that are they're filling up the atmosphere because they are in the presence. They're bringing whatever they are absorbing near the throne into this realm. And so anyway, it's so, oh my gosh, so powerful. Okay, talking about the tabernacle and the glory and stuff. So that was what we were talking about yesterday. So today we're talking about cherubim and the fragrance. Now, I don't know if you've ever had an experience like this. I have, but when you're in worship and you are just feeling the presence of the Lord, you're feeling the glory in the atmosphere, you will smell fragrances, like beautiful smells. I've also, and because, there's an angelic realm, there's the fallen realm, and then there's the ones that are still faithful to God, the 2/3 that are still faithful to God, and then you got the fallen angels. And I have been where I have been worshiping in the Lord, and I've been in my car, and I remember this distinctly. This has been years ago, but I'd be in the car. I'd be just worshiping, and that's back when Carmen was really popular. I loved listening to Carmen. I'd be Carmen, the Christian artist, and I remember driving in my car, and all of a sudden I smelled this smell of sulfur. I knew that the enemy was trying to distract me I knew that somehow he was not happy because I was worshiping, praising the Lord. And I smelled that smell of sulfur in my car. And I looked around, I'm like, no, that was the enemy was in my presence and he didn't like what I was doing. And so I smelled it, but it went away. I just kept praising the Lord. But there's all sorts of little things that we take for granted and we think, oh, that was nothing or whatever. There's a lot of activity going on around you that you cannot see with these natural eyes. You can't see with this natural frequency. You have a small amount of frequency that you can see and hear. And outside of those frequencies, they're here, but we just don't have the perception to be able to pick it up. We don't have the radar to pick it up. They talk about dogs being able to hear frequencies that people can't hear. That's the same kind of principle. So, but in our frequency level is just a certain amount. And then outside of those frequencies, there's things going on, but we just can't pick them up with our five senses. But every once in a while, you'll get a whiff of it, or you'll get something just will happen, and it's almost like something, they slowed down or we sped up or whatever. But at some point, there was an engagement or an interaction between the natural and the supernatural, or the spiritual and the natural. And so but the more we tune our senses, the more we understand and receive and understand the things of the spirit, the higher our frequency becomes, and the more susceptible we are to be able to engage in those other frequencies that we can't see with these natural senses. But we do have ears to hear. We have spiritual ears. We have spiritual eyes. We have spiritual senses. And so anyway, but it's just interesting. I love it. So anyway, let's go to cherubim and the fragrance. Okay, the cherub angels most notably come during this prophetic song. God's glory is like a jet stream cruising along with the angels who are attracted to the gathering of God's people. Often, when the angels are present, there will be a distinct fragrance in the air. This has often happened in my meetings. During those meetings, there are those that begin to smell fragrances like the sweet scent of a heavenly aroma. I've been in many meetings where it's like the fragrance would just start to blow through. The Bible speaks of two kinds of fragrances. The first is the sweet aroma emanating from the victories of the saints. For we are a fragrance of Christ to God among those who are being saved and among those who are perishing. 2 Corinthians 2:15. I like the Barnes notes on this verse. A sweet savor, like the smell of pleasant incense, or a grateful aromatic, such as were burned in the triumphal procession of returning conquerors. The meaning is that their labors were acceptable to God. He was pleased with them and would bestow on them the smiles and proof of his approbation, God's admiration. The word rendered here as sweet savor occurs only in this place in the Ephesians 5:2 and Philippians 4:18. And it applies to persons or things well pleasing to God. The cherubim are attracted to the saints gathering together as the incense, crushed and burned, is dispersed everywhere like a puff of perfume that glorifies the one who made the ultimate sacrifice. The second The second reference to fragrance is found in Paul's letter to the Ephesians. Therefore, be imitators of God as beloved children and walk in love, just as Christ also loved you and gave himself up for us, an offering and a sacrifice to God as a fragrance aroma. Ephesians 5:1-2. The glory of God is established and expressed in the love of God. The saints are called to walk in that love as Christ loved us. The glorious love of the Son is displayed in his sacrifice to God on behalf of the world, which becomes a fragrance that fills the whole earth. The duality of fragrances created by the sacrifice of the Son and the love of the saints blows through the earthly realm, attracting the presence of the angels as the saints ignite holy worship. Wow. The heavenly aroma is like the blood of Christ flowing from his body and onto the mercy seat, coming right into the congregation of God's people with its cleansing power. One of the greatest facets of the glory is the love of God revealed in the shedding of Christ's blood on the cross. I really like that sentence right there, because the heavenly aroma is like the blood of Christ flowing from his body and onto the mercy seat, coming right into the congregation of God's people with its cleansing power. Wow. I was in a meeting in Brazil, and there were a lot of pastors gathered together. I started teaching on the blood of Christ. While teaching, there was a wine fragrance wafting through the room. These dignified pastors that loved Jesus started falling and were laid out on the floor for a long time. In the atmosphere, there was this overcoming scent of wine. Many of these pastors became spiritually intoxicated by that heavenly aroma. Eventually, they had to carry them out. When the fragrance drifted into the room, the presence comes down and rests in the meeting. This becomes heaven's convention on earth. Angels and the saints gathered together, worshiping God. It's the touching, the kissing of the two, heaven and earth. If the glory is there, the cherubims will remain, guarding the glory. Wow, that's beautiful. That is beautiful. Let's see here. I got a few more minutes to see. I'm going to reread that. This becomes heaven's convention on earth. Angels and the saints together, worshiping God. It's the touching, the kissing of the two, heaven and earth. Wow, that's beautiful. That is beautiful. And we're going to start seeing more and more of this manifest as you see heaven on earth, as you see the merging between the natural and the supernatural. I believe you're going to start seeing a blending where you can see both realms. I just believe that we're going to walk in that shortly. At least those who are seeking, those who want more and more of God, want more and more of his presence and his heavenly experience here on earth, because the Bible, says that as it is in heaven, so it be on earth. We don't need to wait until we die and leave this body and go to heaven. We can bring heaven to earth. Actually, heaven, we are portals of heaven. We are connected to the heavenly realm. If we are born again, our spirit man is seated at the right hand of the Father in Christ Jesus. We are seated in heavenly places. So there is part of us that are already seated in heavenly places. And our physical body is here, but our mind, will, and emotions, our mind and our emotions, our soul realm is the bridge between the two, okay? So if you keep your mind, will, and emotions more focused on the heavenly realm, the spiritual realm, the spirit realm, then you're going to experience more of the heavenly realm, the spiritual realm in this earthly realm. If you focus all your attention on what you see with your natural senses, what you feel, you hear, you taste, whatever, in this natural realm, that is going to be your primary experience. So that is why, people say, oh, I'm not going to believe it till I see it. Well, if all you encounter is, if all you focus on is the natural, that's all you're going to get more of. You're going to get more of what you're focusing on. So if you start engaging in the spirit realm, if you start studying and seeking the spiritual realm, you're going to experience that in the natural. That is just a byproduct. It is how it works. It's how God set up the system, this universal laws. And so I'm just excited because the more we study, the more we learn, the more we open our spiritual senses up to the spirit realm in Christ, the more we're going to experience that in the natural. It's going to change the physical structure of your body, your mind, your environment. Everything is affected by the spiritual realm. So if you focus on it, if you focus on the spirit, who you are in the spirit, that you're seated in heavenly places, that you're engaging in the heavenly beings, you're going to see more of that operate in your physical life here, because your soul is the bridge between the two. And so if you're not engaging in, if you're not experiencing supernatural living, and I'm not saying I'm there, but I am at least focused in the right direction, then that's because your whole world is consumed with what you see, what's in the natural. And so I just encourage you to ask God to open your eyes. He will open your eyes like he did for Elijah, for the servant. He opened his eyes and he could see all of that was for him and not against him. And so I just encourage you. So let's see, got a few more minutes. Let's see if I can get through. Let me see how long this next, no, this might be a little bit too much to try to fit in the next few minutes. But anyway, I just want to encourage you. Pick up this book for yourself, Angels by Charlie Shamp. It also has a study guide, which I haven't even started on that. Actually, maybe I should go through some of the questions and let you think about them. But I'll put the link so that you can get these books. You can get them on Amazon. You can go to Charlie Shamp's website, Destiny Encounters, I think it is, and order it for yourself. He will. So he's got some great material, and I'm excited because he's got one on transfiguration, and I'm excited about that. That's gonna be the next book I start. But anyway, he's just asked. The study guide goes along with the different chapters in the book, and I haven't really engaged in it. I need to. Let's see. Lesson 4, Glory Angels, the Cherubim and the Thrones. Let's see. Angels belong to a unique, different dimension of creation that we, limited to the natural order, can scarcely comprehend. He has given angels higher knowledge, power, and mobility than we. And that was what we were talking about yesterday when we started this chapter. And it says, first read chapter 4 in the book before doing your lesson. The first question to ponder, this is from yesterday. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but anyway, it says, when you hear about cherubims, what do you think about them, and how would you describe them in your own words? So, of course, most people would think of them as the little fat babies with wings, that you see at Valentine's Day, but that is not what they are. They are very powerful. They're powerful. Let's see. What are the Hebrew words for cherubim? Describe the meaning of the words and describe the cherubim themselves. Well, that is something I don't have much time to do that, but let's see. Let's go back to lesson 3, because we went through this. Let's see. Lesson 3. If angels come upon the wing from heaven to earth to minister for our good, shall not we soar off upon the wing from earth to heaven to share with them in their glory? It says, in the book of Ephesians, the phrase heavenly places is mentioned 5 times. Where are they located? What is the Greek word for heavenly, and what does it mean? And I believe that one was plains, like plains. So I'll have to go back there. Let's see, the next question. Explain the meaning of exegesis and Eisegesis. And let's see. Alrighty. Why is the heavenly sphere not a canopy? What are the two Hebrew words for glory, and what is the Greek word for glory? Explain all three. So you can see this is a good in-depth book. So I would encourage you to get Angels and get the workbook, and then do it for yourself, because you can, the more you seek, the more you study, the more it becomes part of who you are, and the more you're going to engage in what you have gained that revelation in. So anyway, this is Suzy Q. I got to go to work, but I hope that you enjoyed this study, and I hope I'm going to put the links to these books down below this video so that you can get it for yourself, and you can study it, and you can do the workbook so that it becomes part of you. It becomes part of your revelation of what is accessible, what is available to the believer in Christ. All right, this is Suzy Q. I will chat with you later. Love you guys. Bye-bye. See you tomorrow.